What's good, y'all? This is another edition of Before You Watch, and I am your host, Abwon. Spoiler-free reviews all the time. My last review was the Tomorrow War. I'm always forgetting these reviews. I just be forgetting because I'm watching so much content, and I'm just recording them whenever I can, so I forget which one I'm doing. But anyway, my last review was for the Tomorrow War on Amazon Prime. Make sure you check that out. This one is for the Suicide Squad, the new one, not the one with Will Smith. It's the one with Idris Elba. This one is on HBO Max and it's also in theaters, but let's be real, nobody's really watching movies in theaters anymore right now. The first Suicide Squad was atrocious. It was a terrible movie. I had a screening for it. Everybody in the theater hated it. People were walking out. The guy who played Killer Croc, the writing that they have for him was like so racist. That movie was just super duper ridiculous. It was just trash. It was trash. So I'm just gonna give you a quick synopsis on what the basis of the Suicide Squad before I jump into what this one is about. So the Suicide Squad is pretty much about a group of, I don't really want to call them super villains, but I guess you could say they're like anti-heroes to some degree. They're locked up. Viola Davis goes to them. They take them and put them in these like random teams. They're using them like black ops where they have to do something for the government, and if they successfully complete their mission, they get 10 years off their sentence. If they decide to stray from the mission, she implants something in their brain where she can kill them and all types of other stuff. So it's pretty much like a Suicide Squad because these missions are ridiculous. So I'm gonna just give you a synopsis for this one. It's another Suicide Squad, obviously. There is a tower that is conducting experiments on some extraterrestrial entity, and the Suicide Squad is to go in and pretty much remove some contents that are on the floppy disk out of that particular tower. And that's all I'm gonna give you. That's all I'm gonna give you. The first thing that I definitely noticed about this movie when I first saw it was that James Gunn did it. If you don't know who James Gunn is, he is the same director from Guardians of the Galaxy on Marvel, and Suicide Squad is a DC film. Now, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, they're like adventure movies. You know, they're pretty much just glorified family films. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the MCU movies are glorified family films outside of a few. Anyway, some group, I'm just gonna say that, some group found some old tweets from James Gunn where he made some insensitive jokes about pedophilia and rape and all of this other stuff during the Me Too movement. Disney pretty much fired him, and while he was fired, DC decided to snatch him up because he was super duper hot at the time. Guardians of the Galaxy was blowing up. They brought him in. They said, we want you to do the Suicide Squad. He did it. Here we are. Disney rehired him after they did like an investigation or whatever. I'm not going to really talk too much about that because I have my own opinions on that rehiring, but whatever. They brought him back, and that's where we're at. So after I saw the whole James Gunn situation, if you see the very first trailer for the Suicide Squad, you notice there's like a million actors and actresses in this film. There's like A and B listers everywhere. And the first thing I thought was, is this going to be the Expendables of superhero movies? Because there's no way all of these A-listers are going to be able to share the screen at the same time. It's just not going to happen. So I was right. They really don't pull any punches in this movie. I mean, it's rated R, so if there's ways for them to die, they will die. A lot of like the MCU films, they make these characters larger than life. You can't kill me. You can't kill me. I'm invincible, blah, blah, blah. They do not do that in these superhero films. All of these characters do have their own little powers or abilities, whatever you want to call them, but they're defenseless against explosives in their heart and things like that. So it just adds for some good fun. It kind of keeps you on your toes like Game of Thrones, because anybody can get whacked at any moment. This movie is pretty much everything that Guardians of the Galaxy isn't. You know, it's over the top. There's tons of action. It's gory. It's gritty. It's vulgar. It's not cookie coated. It's not watered down. It's funny. The movie is hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. The cinematography is amazing. There's a fight scene between two particular characters, and there's a shiny helmet that's, excuse me, that's a reflector. You basically watch the reflection of the fight scene from the helmet. And it's just really well done, really well done. I mean, there's some scenes where instead of blood splattering, it's, you know, paint and vibrant cartoon roses. The movie's about 2 hours and 20 minutes. It does not feel like it. There are definitely Easter eggs. Remember, this is James Gunn. He is from Marvel, so there's something after the first credits, and then there's something at the end of the credits too. Idris Elba did his thing in this film, but it's not just always about him. There are other characters that have like these amazing abilities that complement him and vice versa, and they also have a lot of their shine too. What I did not like about the film, there are some scenes that are really slow that really did not need to be in there. I just felt like there was maybe 3 or 4 scenes that they just threw in there. I don't know why. It kind of adds to the story, but not really. They really did not need it. Also, there are a lot of inconsistencies with this film. There's a scene, they come out of the school bus, it's pouring rain outside, they're running through the rain, but then the second they get somewhere that's indoors, none of them are wet. And I'm sitting here like, are you kidding me? Like, y'all were just drenched in like a hurricane. Like, it just did it. There's no consistency with the continuity there. Also, they're infiltrating this facility that is pretty much guarded by the military of this country. It's been conducting all of these crazy experiments for over 30 years from all types of governments, but yet they're just using regular like Hummers as battering rams. Like, the military is awful. They have terrible aim. There was like 100 soldiers shooting one guy that was hanging on a ledge. None of them could hit him. It was just really inconsistent. It also can be a little predictable, just a little bit. I mean, it is a comic book movie, so you kind of can see the outcome. But out of those 3 things, I really had no complaints. I'm gonna watch the movie again, to be honest with you. I'm gonna watch the movie again. Movies like this are like right up my alley. Like movies like this and Army of the Dead, they're like right up my alley. And Deadpool, you could say Deadpool was too, but the second Deadpool I just felt was like super duper like adolescent. It was just too many dick jokes, too many like fart jokes. I just felt like I was a teenager in a lunchroom. I just didn't like it. This film has the same jokes, but not too many. Other than that, the other jokes are very contextual, so it just so happens to be within that particular moment. Even the villain looked really good, in his superpower, whatever you want to call it, it just worked really well with the film. I didn't like how the first one, they tried to make it where they were stopping one person. I just felt like this movie was better. They're on a mission, and then as the mission unfolds, you just see all of these other side stories going on. It just worked better for what exactly the basis of the Suicide Squad was, because at the end of the day, none of these guys are gonna stop like Superman. If you got HBO Max, definitely check this out. However, if you wanna watch this in the theaters, I actually wouldn't say no. I would see this movie in the theaters. It's just really that good. This is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. And in terms of an actual comic book movie, it's up there. It's up there with like Blade, Civil War, Joker, Dark Knight. Suicide Squad is up there. I'm gonna give this movie an 8.9 out of 10. Yeah, I was gonna give it a 9 at first, but then those couple of things that I did not like kind of detracted from it. But other than that, I'm gonna give it an 8.9 out of 10. I'm definitely gonna watch it again. I'm gonna advise you to not watch this movie with your kids though. There's nudity on both sides of the spectrum. There's all types of cursing, and it's extremely graphic. So, kids see worse on social media, so who am I to tell you how to parent your kids? But if you do have a choice and you don't want your kids to see something crazy, I would not have them watch this movie. I'd probably have them watch like Jungle Cruise or Mulan or something. But the soundtrack of this movie is fire too. The soundtrack is really amazing. This is just a really all around well put movie. It's just a really good movie. Really good movie. Check it out, man. The Suicide Squad on HBO Max. My next review is gonna be Black Widow, coming out the Friday of this week, man. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, tell a friend to tell a friend. I got content for days, you dig? I'm out of here. Peace.